Hey, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you today. I'm sure you're probably familiar with the term love at first sight, or many of the other similar things like you had me at hello, you complete me, from the first time I saw you, I fell in love with you, or from the moment I saw you, I knew you were going to be my husband, or the moment I met you, God told me you were going to be my wife, and sorry. Throw it in my mouth a little bit there. Or even Shakespeare was attributed with a quote, "When I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew." Come on, man, it's ridiculous. Listen, we've been just showered with this idea of love at first sight and falling in love right away and all these other things. And so I decided I'm going to do a little research on it. And here's some things that I found. One survey said that Match.com did the survey of over 5,000 singles, and 34% of them said they had experienced love at first sight. And get this, of that 34%, 29% of the women said they had, and 41% of men said they had. Fellas, dude, what's going on? Man, I thought we were the logical ones. I thought men were the ones that used their head when they dated, not the ones watching the romance novels and the romance shows and that kind of stuff. But that's what the survey turned out. So this idea of love at first sight has always been like the holy grail of experiences that singles could have with one another, that is depicted in Hollywood movies and romance novels, on and on and on. And actually, surveys do show that people who tend to watch those and read those believe more in this idea and subscribe to more of the romantic side of relationships as well. But I also found an article that gave us some signs of how we would know that we've fallen in love at first sight. So I wanted to read these to you and we could share in the foolishness together. So here's the signs that you may have experienced love at first sight. Number one, it says you're giving them the eyes, right? But there's more to this. Watch this. They said, according to dating and psychology writer, now notice, it's a dating and psychology writer, not an actual psychologist or dating expert. So this is the person saying it. But they said at this point in our evolution, our intuitive skills allow us to tell in about 100 milliseconds whether or not somebody is a suitable sexual partner. Just by looking at them, we can this quickly, here's what it says, this super arousing stare down accomplishes a few things, the article says. It can give us their level of trustworthiness, it can gauge their emotions, we can tell if they're intelligent, and we can even figure out their sexual orientation, all of which help us decide, is this person compatible for us? So here's what it's saying. You can look at somebody in their eyes, and in 100 milliseconds, you can tell all that stuff. So let's try it. All righty? Trustworthy, check. Decently intelligent, emotionally available. She likes guys. I'm in. Love at first sight. It works. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. Within 100 milliseconds, we can tell stuff about people's character by staring them in the eye. It's ridiculous. Number two is, the second sign is you feel a euphoric sense of relaxation and warmth. You know, same thing when you're drunk or when you're stoned. You get a euphoric sense of relaxation and warmth. But that's a sign that you've experienced love at first sight. Number three, you feel like you can be your most authentic self. I mean, from the first time you lay eyes on somebody, you're like, oh, I can be my most authentic self with them. I can tell just by looking in their eyes. I can tell their character. I can tell everything about them just by looking at them. Number four, you feel the flutter of excitement or butterflies. You know that feeling that lets you know you're in love. And then the article actually goes on to say, strangely, science says that the butterfly feelings that you're feeling are actually our fight or flight response due to adrenaline. So actually, instead of being in love, you're trying to decide, should you fight them or run for your life? But it could be also, it's either you need to fight them and kill them so they don't kill you, you need to run as fast as you can, or maybe it's love at first sight. That's the feeling I get. And number 5, you feel in sync. Aren't those good? Okay, now that we both feel dumber for having read an article about how to know if you've experienced love at first sight, and I know some of you are like, listen, I don't care what you say, I don't care what anybody else says, I know I've experienced love at first sight. Here's what I'd say to you. You have absolutely experienced something at first sight. But with all honesty, I'm here to tell you it is not love. I'm not saying you didn't experience something, that you didn't have some feelings, that something didn't go off inside of you. But I am here to tell you that the thing that you felt was absolutely 100% not love. So quit fooling yourself into thinking that the feelings that you're feeling are actually love. So when you think about all the stuff that Hollywood movies depict and that romance novels try to get you to believe, all of those things are really driven by something inside of you, not some inherent value in the other person. And most of the stuff that's inside us that's causing us to feel that way is born out of our own woundedness, our own dysfunction, our own pain points, our own pathology. And because we got something inside of us we've never dealt with, we'll run into somebody and we will perceive them as the savior for the thing inside of us. It has much more to do with us than it has anything to do with the other person. The reality of relationship is this: love takes time. Love is built. Love is a soul-to-soul connection that is found through things like shared meaning, commitment, resolving conflicts and hurts, sacrifice, forgiveness, giving, displays of character, spiritual compatibility, and sharing. And guess what all of those have in common? They take time to experience them. Love is built over time. There's no such thing as love at first sight. There's some feelings that we can have at first sight that are born out of something in us that have nothing to do with the other person, but is something that the other person is bringing out or making us feel that's already inside of us. So now that we've established that love at first sight is a dumb dating idea, let me give you 2 takeaways. Number 1 is, now that you know it's not actually reality, do not allow the fantasies that you have in your mind to fool you into thinking that you've got something you don't have and that the other person has something that you know nothing about inside of them. You need to understand character, and that's done over time, and that's why love is built. And number 2, just because you may not feel those feelings at the moment of first sight does not mean that the other person does not have great value or even long-term potential simply because you didn't feel some feeling that you think is love at first sight. So I'm sorry if you're a hopeless romantic and I just stomped all over your favorite thing, the thing you've been waiting on, the thing you've waited for your knight in shining armor to ride in on a white horse, and you fall madly in love with him. I'm sorry if I ruined that, but I'm saving you pain in the long term. Love at first sight is a dumb dating idea. Love is built. Love takes time. Okay, I'm done beating the dead horse. Hey, listen, if we can help you at all in your dating relationships or preparing yourself for dating because you're frustrated, would love to do that. I've got an upcoming dating detox class. We just finished our last one and it has been amazing. We're about to launch another 4-week dating detox class. You can get information on that below. We've also got a singles experience for an exclusive group of 25 singles at a phenomenal hotel in Mexico, Labor Day weekend, September 1st through 4th. We'd love to have you join us for that. We're going to have a great time. We're going to learn a lot about dating, some principles of dating and relationships, and really how to get yourself healthy and whole so you can have a healthy relationship. You can see information on that below as well. Until next time, I'll see you right back here on Relation Shots.